Alright, what's up everybody, and welcome back after a false start, and then GUMIHO thinking, Pig isn't in the lobby, we need to restart the game, even though I was in the game and casting it. We're now actually starting the cast of GUMIHO in the top right, Solar in the bottom left. The players have just resumed from replay, even though it was only 2 minutes into the game. I don't even know why they bothered, but it's going to be awesome. It's the round of 8, I believe, of the Pigasaur Weekly number 7. Shout out to our lovely admin and organizers, Stegosaurus, and all of you who've helped me support this tournament by funding $200 of that prize pool every single week. Hence, we get to slap our name on it, while I otherwise be a lazy content creator who just tries to give some props to the players. My face is on the screen. It's not normally on the screen for these more professional casts. But get yourselves excited. GUMIHO is a very creative player. His mech play does struggle, though, against Solar. And it would struggle even more because we are playing on the PTR where Cyclone's lock-on range is only going to break at 9 vision. So, to be fair, I think he's more of a bio player versus Zerg anyway, but I may suggest actually that we go off the PTR to the Korean server and play a mod after this. If, you know, just to give those options. And if the players want to do it, I'd be okay with it as well. Depends if Stego's okay with it. Stego, if you're watching on the stream, you let me know in the Twitch chat if I can suggest that, just because I feel like there's one guy who's going to use the old Cyclone in a really cool, interesting way. It's going to be him. And it is one of those things where below the very top pro level, that old Cyclone was insanely good. And it was only after years of Zergs and Protoss players really getting used to that older Cyclone, that longer range Tech Lab Cyclone, that it became not used very heavily in pro play, even in TVT for a long time. It was a very good Cyclone mech style, right? I remember watching Clem and Hero Marine back in 2020, just playing these mass Cyclone battles against each other constantly. So it's one of these units where it's kind of funny because I've seen people discussing the Cyclone changes and saying like, the other Cyclone was boring, the old Cyclone, a couple people going back to the Tech Lab Cyclone, you see it ever, it's just you build one of them in the early game, in TVT only, and that's all you ever do. And I was like, this is so not true, number one. Number two, like, what? Not every unit needs to be massable in every situation. Like, I've already struggled really hard to deal with that old Tech Lab Cyclone in a bunch of my games in different matches. I just think it's a more interesting unit. But, you know, it's like people will be like, oh, the Reaper's not interesting because we don't mass Reapers all game. You're like, what? Not every unit needs to be something you just build as a core unit. If it has a role at a certain point in the matchup, it's awesome. And the Cyclone definitely does have that. Oh! Uh-oh, Ling's getting roasted. Oh, GUMIHO dive. He's going to get quite a few drones here. 5 have already gone down. Tries to go for a few more. 1 or 2 more shots could be big. 8 workers is nice. Going to get himself a bit more damage. Oh, if he can keep 2 alive, that's big because... he loses 1. With 2, you can shoot the drones down in 2 volleys, right? But does end up losing that last drone. Only 9 workers killed. Gives up a lot of map control, which is the big thing as well. But with a 3rd command center finished, Cloaked Banshee's coming in behind it, and still 4 Hellions on the map. GUMIHO should still be able to slow down the creep. And that's the big thing Zerg wants to take advantage of after they deflect a pressure like that, is spreading the creep and getting it back out there. Engineering bays over on the right side. 2nd and 3rd barracks coming up. Now we've got that Banshee coming in behind the natural. Drones taking damage. Spores building. Queens and Zerglings coming out en masse. Fourth and 5th barracks coming in as well now for GUMIHO. So even when GUMIHO does good damage for Solar, look at his supply, look at his worker count. Solar can take a punch to the chin, remember. You've all heard me talk about Solar's Zerg versus Terran. It is almost entirely defensive until the late game. He just sits there and absorbs punches, and it is purely on you to stop him getting out of control, GUMIHO. 4th base taking a little bit of damage, but only a little bit. Nice. Banshee's grabbed 2 drones. Only 2, though. He's taking advantage of that delayed lair. Lair's just finished, which means Overseer will be morphing. He's going to grab another drone, a bit more mining time. Good pullbacks on those drones for Solar, but not enough. And finally, he does go into the main base. Double Evo chamber here. Doesn't really look like a Spire game. I'd imagine this is just Hydraling Bane Solar's standard into Lurkers at Hive Tech. And the Banshees, as the cloak runs out, are going to back away. So Armory's coming at a nice timing here. Probably too early, honestly, for GUMIHO, since his 1-1's not even halfway finished. Better early than late. 4th and 5th barracks getting their reactors. No 2nd factory, no 4th command center, no gases on the 3rd just yet. Banshee on the 4th base does take damage. This could matter, right? How often do we see Marines catch the Zerg out of position, stim and kill the hatchery? If you've knocked it down 400 or 500 hit points ahead of time, that can definitely work out. Unlikely for a Zerg to bother transfusing that as well, unless it's much weaker. That's what me woman says. What, better early than late? I would call you out. I don't think she does say that. I think she probably has the opposite view. Better never than early might be the more common motto, I would imagine, from your partner. I'm gonna go out on a limb there, Twitch chat. Marines and Helvats trying to pull away. Oh, Queen's coming in to try and take care of the tank. He's got another tank here. That tank's going to try and fight as well from the low ground. The first tank does go down. Spore Crawler really helped out there by zoning the Medivacs. Otherwise, some Marines could have stayed there. And more transfusers do this Hero Spore. Remember, Spores do 20 damage a shot to Medivacs now as well. Or to all air units. It's a big increase. Banshee's coming from that left side. GUMIHO with a really nice angle, but I feel like Solar should have the numbers to clean this up now. Banshee's going after the Baneling Nest. Not the juiciest target. It's very tanky, unlikely to kill a Baneling Nest, but you never know. 2-2 has started as well as a 4th command center for GUMIHO. I think GUMIHO accepts that this position's going to get cleared. He just wants to do whatever damage he can. He wanted to get the hatchery, but he will not be able to get it. He's just going to try and... Oh, he's still dropping. Banshees take out the Baneling Nest, but they both die to the Queens on the left side. At the same time, Hydra's pop. That last medevac goes down. GUMIHO goes for a classic GUMIHO chaotic push. A bit of a YOLO. He loses way too much, though. The reason is, guys, look at his supply. He's down 10 workers. Yes, he has a 4th command center. Yes, he does have a decent production count with the 2nd factory now up, but only 5 barracks. His 6th, 7th, 8th barracks only now going down. This next push, I think, needs to get some damage because that infestation bit's halfway done. I mean, he does have a big upgrade advantage, actually. He could wait for 2-2. Actually, it might be a bad idea to press here. My instinct said keep pressing now because Solar's going to have Hive soon, but actually looking at it, Solar's Hive is nowhere near. Solar doesn't have a Baneling Nest right now either, so maybe pressing hard now while the Baneling count is low could actually work out. The Marines getting down a few Banelings, but there's enough Hydras to hold the line. Groove Spines is there as well. More Queens coming in. 5th Command Center building. Oh, GUMIHO. Remember, guys, GUMIHO isn't necessarily playing this like, oh, mass command center style. He'll be playing momentum. His late game transition will most likely just be range libs. He might add a few ghosts, but it's more likely for him to play pure Marine Marauder multi-prong with some range libs added in. And maybe even not even bothering with the range. He might just go libs, right? Just overwhelming multi-prong, lots of mid-game units, keep the creep back. And the loss condition for him, the win condition for Solar generally is just get enough creep on the map. Enough map control, enough economy to get all those hive tech units out. You get Vipers, parasitic bombing medevacs, Lurkers defending in multiple areas. GUMIHO's going to run out of steam. He's not going to be able to punch through. So GUMIHO is the way to think of him is he plays like Clem in that he's hyper aggressive, but he's on a timer. Whereas for Clem, he's just as comfortable in the late game as he is in the mid game, right? For GUMIHO, it's old school Terran. It's early legacy Terran. It's I got to kill you before you hit that Ultralisk with 9 armor or whatever ridiculous stat it was back in the start of Legacy. Back when Ultras could not be killed. And if you got to Hive Tech, you just won. But it's a different age now. That Widow Mine, I love the Widow Mine drop comes in. Does not actually unload the Widow Mine, unfortunately. And the Hydras do clean that up. Pulling back the drop in the south. And the north goes... in the north he pulls back. In the south he dives. Hatchery. Easy click. Easy click there. Widow Mine's not really getting anything decent. Just a single Zergling. He's going to try and clear the creep as he disengages, which is quite nice. Where's that concussive shells? He does have it. Guess his Marauders just didn't quite land a hit on that Queen in order to keep her back. Spread across 5 bases is Solar. Interestingly, he did not take the purple gas, and part of that is probably because tanks down there can hit the mineral line. Does he have Vipers out yet? +2 carapace is almost done, +2 melee is halfway done. He's got a 3rd evolution chamber with range upgrades, which I do like. Adrenal glands on the way, and Viper's starting to gather that energy. So all the late game tools, pieces starting to come into place. The Lurker Den's got range on the way. And GUMIHO is building a Ghost Academy. I really think Range Lib suits his style much better than Ghosts. And I think especially with 3 supply, like I really don't like GUMIHO playing Ghosts. I know that sounds weird, guys. It sounds kind of antiquated to say, don't like Ghosts? You mean you don't like him winning? No, remember that GUMIHO is a very, very good Terran. Probably top 10 in the world. Easily top 10 in the world, I'd say. and yet there is a skill difference between Clem, Maru, and pretty much every other Terran when it comes to playing Ghost in the late game, especially since that nerf. And on these big maps, I think GUMIHO is much better at just pushing with Marine, Marauder, Mine, and Lib. And this push actually looks pretty nice. I think he traded pretty well. He's just got to pull back before he loses everything. He's overcommitting right now. He's diving in the middle at the same time, guys. He does crack through some of the Hydras. It's a bit of a wild trade. Very, very close on both sides. But at the end of the day, he loses almost everything and only kills some of his opponent's stuff. Units lost tab is about 2,000 ahead for GUMIHO. And he's on 81 workers. He's on 5 bases. Planetary there. Planetary going up in the top. If he can take these next 2 bases in the middle as well and keep Solar somewhat contained, it'd be good. But look at the way Solar's respreading creep. I mean, Solar is the tumor that just keeps on giving. You can hit Solar with so much chemo. It does not matter, guys, because for him, chemo is just therapy. He likes getting beaten around. He likes getting bashed up a little bit because it just gives him a chance to make epic comebacks. Solar is never out of the game until you completely kill him. And GUMIHO, he feels that urgency. Nidus is on the way. Lurk attacks out. It feels like the power level is swinging in Solar's favor because remember, we're going to hit the point where Overseers fly along the top, Niduses start popping up in the back, and suddenly GUMIHO is going to have massive pressure on his multitasking. Good split on his medevacs to minimize the parasitic bomb damage as me computer hangs for a second there. Apologize for that. Here we go. Gathering. Marines, Marauders trying to hang out. Oh, Baneling's doing some boom booms. Oh, it's a lot of units going down. Nidus Worm in the back does go down as it pops there. And Widowmine in the center. Unfortunately, it's right in the grass, so it's never able to have enough vision to actually complete its shot. Feels like GUMIHO maybe just lost a few too many Marines and Marauders. He's still trading. About 2,000 resources lost ahead of Solar, which means, honestly, the gap is sitting steady at 2,000. That means you're trading evenly. Normally, you don't want to trade evenly with a Zerg, but if he can maybe deny mining here, kill this new hatchery in the bottom, hey, it might be worth it. GUMIHO sees the hatchery. He will take that kill. He's going to keep pushing. GUMIHO is playing a zero chill style, guys. It is all about momentum, aggression, and keeping the pace up. He's also getting Caduceus Reactor, doubling the energy regen rate of these medevacs, which could be massive. Parasitic bombs could come down. Viper's running a bit far forward. They cop an EMP to the chin. Nice move there for GUMIHO. And he's going to have to be careful, though, just because I feel like his Marine count's a little low. Now, this is a weird thing that happens with GUMIHO's style, guys. He's got 15 Marauders, only 29 Marines. If you don't have Marines, Zerglings do become an issue. Topside Lurkers on top of a Planetary. He's going to need to drop a scan there, but he's very busy down the bottom. Solar abusing GUMIHO's multitasking. Scan on the top does go down. The Planetary does push the Lurkers away. The Marauders and the Medevacs getting absolutely yoinked to their death. But here we go. Marine Marauder Ghost coming in. A bit of a rally. He needs more units here, but he just doesn't quite have the production. He's on 11 barracks right now, by the way, guys. This is not an 8-rack style. It's an 11-rack style. But those Lurkers up top causing him problems. And I think he's just going to have to lose that base, retake this middle one instead. While Solar, he's trading. Yeah, he's down to 3,000 resources behind a unit's loss. Still, that's pretty good trading for this matchup. GUMIHO's just not going to be able to as fluidly get his bases up, whereas you can just start plonk hatcheries down everywhere, especially now they're only 275 minerals. And yeah, you got slowed down in the early game by having more expensive queens, but now it's cheaper to keep expanding. Command centers are 400, and you got to make him to an orbital or a planetary. You often got to float them out as well. Losing these command centers would absolutely chop the economy off GUMIHO. It would take away his most important thing. Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts coming in with the mines. He's going to focus that hatchery and that hatchery, a double hatchery snipe. But at the same time, the Banelings blow up the 4th base. His 5th base got killed. His 6th command center got killed. His 7th command center is sitting above a base it cannot land. And that means that GUMIHO is back to his initial 3. Being on his initial 3 bases means this army has to get it done. It's a big army. They've got big guns. They've got big muscles. They've definitely got the baby oil out there. They're, you know, touching up the muscles before a Mr. Olympia show. Don't get me wrong, Marauders are big boys, guys. They're muscular. I think there's like a Sylvester or an Arnie in each one of those. A proper 80s action hero. Problem? Zerg. Lots of it. Good upgrades. 3-3 about to finish. Carapace is already there. Friggin' Viper's still on the map. Lurkers on the map. Nidus Worms. I feel like you don't even have enough healing with this army to keep it going. Widowmines need some big boom booms, man. Nuke going in the main base right now. There is a nuke attempt. I love that. Solar got distracted for a moment. He's still trying to fight. That Viper's going to go down. Oh, nice pick up there for Solar. For GUMIHO, sorry. GUMIHO's still counter pushing. GUMIHO's diving on creep. Nuke lands in the main. 9 drones go down. That's actually kind of amazing, guys. If he could do another nuke on another base, it would be great. Unfortunately, he is out of nukes right now. But dude, GUMIHO's hanging on. Unfortunately, his income is bad. The longer this goes, the better it is for Solar. Because Solar still has this base mining. On the other hand, and he's got this one as well. The problem for Solar is he did lose those 2 bases on the left side, so his income isn't as far ahead as I thought it was. 30 army supply lead for the Terran. Still got that slight upgrade advantage as the +3 attack upgrades aren't quite done for the Zerg just yet. Nidus Lurker pops out to deny the 4th base orbital, gets some damage there. Baneling's going to roll into the army on the front. Some Ghosts getting overwhelmed. The Marauders get pushed back. He's got to keep rotating. And oh, an orbital goes down. That's what I'm talking about, man. GUMIHO's income is just so weak right now. He's so fragile. Solar just needs to slow things down and hold on. Slow down and hold on. GUMIHO is the one who has to kill you, and he has to kill you soon. He's going to try and go for a hatchery snipe. Scan is there. He's trying to snipe as well. He's out of scans. The Banelings come forward. Is GUMIHO just going to overwhelm? He's going to look for it. He's going to look to break this lurker position, but I honestly don't think he can do it. If he runs into those 7-8 lurkers, I think we're going to see a Marauder cemetery over here, guys. And he does wisely pull back. All right, lurkers are going to go in. This time the Marine Marauder's going to do pretty well. He does some fancy spreadies. Oh, StarCraft 1 micro right there. Hello. Don't get to see that too often in the midst of the chaotic StarCraft 2 high-paced games that we are watching. He's going to rotate and get this base snipe, dude. GUMIHO is keeping himself in here. High octane, high aggression Terran Zerg. But he doesn't click on the hatchery. Those Banelings get some decent hits. He does pick up and save a few units, picks them up to the back. Lurkers rotate. He could hit this from the high ground. Honestly, I wouldn't mind him just picking off a few drones there, maybe dropping a scan, killing a Lurker from the high ground. Right now, though, Viper's coming in along with Lurker, Hydraling. Blinding Clouds go down as well. GUMIHO trying to work this angle. He commits hard. He tries to click on the Lurker. It does finally go down. Parasitic Bomb in the middle there, though. The bees! Nicolas Cage screaming in pain. It's a Wicker Man. It's a dead medevac man. The command center going down on the right side at the same time. Solar just having the wherewithal to keep it together in the face of monumental Terran aggression. And that is the pace. Solar has taken so many punches into the chin. You'd expect to see him panicked. But if there was one way I could describe Solar and how he plays this matchup, GUMIHO has to GG there. You got to look at this and you got to think like, he's a guy who is so comfortable getting punched in the face. Like he is... there's this like Mike Perry friggin' I'm gonna break your fist with my chin sort of bare knuckle boxing sort of feel about it. Like Solar, he just takes the punches to the face. He doesn't duck, he doesn't weave, his head movement sucks, but his jaw is very, very strong. He has an iron jaw, and you will break a few of your fingers trying to knock him out. Very well played game one by Solar. All right, guys. Solar in the top right side of the map. Hatch gas pool looking fantastic there. In the bottom right side, we've got GUMIHO. And GUMIHO, man, he fought pretty good, but... Wow, Zogger, thank you so much for supporting the prize pool. Really appreciate it. This is the Pigstarcraft Weekly, casting this one live right now. If you're watching it on YouTube later, you are not hearing the epic music that those on live stream are, as someone just threw $50 to help us out supporting that prize pool. Thank you, Zogger. Appreciate that. But like I said, GUMIHO, where did he really lose that game? I feel like there was just a few too many fights where he committed really hard and he never quite overwhelmed Solar, right? Solar always cleaned up the whole army, got a few extra medevac kills, a few Marauder kills. And I think peak Terran, that's like, killings usually means there's fights where you win. Or you pick up and you save a whole bunch of units, you pull back and you heal them, right? You really use that medevac healing, you use that recyclability, whereas GUMIHO was more like I'm trying to overwhelm you, and I'm going to break that Hydra line. And he never really broke the Hydra line, right? He never got through everything and had enough left over to break through. So Solar just got a bit too much efficiency over the long run there. GUMIHO was very far from the normal sort of realm of what you'd expect from a Terran in terms of their TVZ efficiency. And even though he managed to like snipe a few bases at a few points and make it still very close, I think there was quite a few fights which I would say they weren't like, oh, this is over, but they definitely weren't good for GUMIHO. They were like, there was like slightly favored fight for Solar, slightly favored fight for Solar over and over again, and those do stack up. Thank you so much, El Heecham and TT Carnage. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate all the support. Hellions coming in. Just a very standard Hellion Banshee, is it? Or no Tech Lab, actually. Liberator? Ooh. We never see Hellion Lib anymore. Wait, can you not jump down there? Or was he just maybe slightly stuck from the Zergans? I think you can jump up and down, but the Reaper just got stuck, bugged a bit. I love Hellion Lib, guys. The thing is, Zerg's got so good at defending it, which is why you don't see it as much. Like, the top Zergs are so methodical with their Overlord placements. Solar's actually a little lazy. He always leaves an opening. On at least one side. Looks like his top side's covered, but his bottom side's open. So if the Lib comes in from that angle, it might surprise him a little. And generally speaking, ooh, he's rallying the Lib to the top, so it's probably not going to be as effective. Oh, he's actually using it to spot the high ground as well. He's like, okay, I don't want to let this Overlord see everything that's going on. So the Marines go over there, and the Marines and the Lib together should be able to finish that bad boy off. Dude, I do love the Overlord death animation. That's cool, dude. 6 more drones on the way. Second and third barracks coming in. Double engineering base should go down momentarily after third and fourth gas. Now that's interesting, guys. I would expect, or I would have wait. Single eBay? Is that on purpose? Is he 8-raxing? I think GUMIHO might be simplifying his game plan. This is probably a good map for 8-racks, guys. That makes sense. Alien's gonna dive. 3 drones. Punishing Solar a little bit for being light on the Zerglings. Actually, no, he has plenty of Lings. 16, they're just not in position. Liberator's going to come in the main base. Sporkruller and Queen are there and ready for it. GUMIHO's going to have to lean away from this aggression. He has to back away. Just you know, Solar's safe. He's being careful. You got to back out of here. Now, second engineering bay does go down, so it was a mistake, though. He did mean to go double, but he didn't quite have the cash before. So he's going to go for those double upgrades shortly. Ling's going to do a nice run by a beautiful play. The Marines are there. I thought there was only 1 Marine out, guys. Thought that was going to do more than it did. I'll own up to it. 1-1's started now for Terran. 1-1 started for Zerg a few seconds earlier. 4th and 5th barracks goes down for GUMIHO in his main base. You can see queuing those SCVs straight back to mining after they build those barracks. And we would expect him to show us some sign that he was committing very hard to an all-in if he was planning it already by now, which I don't think he is. Look at this SCV. That is peak inefficiency right there. Just while these depots are still raised. Only loses 1 SCV. It's not the end of the world. Lair, Baneling Nest, and of course, a macro hatch out here. 4th base in the top. Solar's 4th base. He never rushes for it. A lot of Zergs rush for the 4th. They see if they can get away with something a bit cheeky. Not Solar. He's always about the solid stuff. Armory goes down here. Once again, Armory is very early. GUMIHO hates having his 2-2 delayed. Thank you, Brojon, with a big $10 tipperoni. Thank you very much. Helping grow my pepperoni. Sorry. I'm a child. Queen's getting transfused there, but the Marines still take it down. GUMIHO's got to be careful, though. You don't want to lose too many Marines just for a Queen snipe and a little bit of energy. Lib tried to come in as well, but it does get pushed back. And look at this, guys. Ling scouting ahead of the Zergling counterattack. That 3rd base, it's looking a little exposed. Another single Zergling comes in to get a single SCV. The other one's going to click in behind it. And there's not that much bio at home. 21 Marines and 1 tank on the map. 1 Lib, 6 Hellbats. GUMIHO has to run away. Solar is famous for not really counterattacking at all. But GUMIHO is so committed to the aggression that Solar's like, oh, I guess I have to. Like, if you're just going to leave yourself wide open all game, yeah, I'm going to punish you. Oh, I like that. 6 Banelings on the very edge of the map. Here's that tank push we were talking about, guys. Tank is so close to the hatchery. Baneling speed's not ready for another 20 seconds. Solar does not want to fight, but if he doesn't fight, he might just get oomphed. And that hatchery getting low. Slow Banelings going towards the Marines. He does pick up most of the Marines, lifts them to the high ground, heavily damage the hatchery. May be able to get that in a future snipe. Nonetheless, a good hold for Solar. His Baneling speed almost done. 2-2 on the way. +2 attack did start for GUMIHO, but he didn't have the money for +2 armor. And oh no! The Banelings! Big booms going down there, taking out 15 SCVs as well as a pack of Marines. Southside Liberated does come in here and says, how do you like them apples? Immediately in this version of the story, Matt Damon gets punched in the face by the guy who he's taunting, and the Liberator runs away back to Southie, and GUMIHO's in trouble, man. He's down 30 supply. These last few trades haven't gone well. The tank trying to fire on the Banelings, the Marines trying to pull back, but this tank's going to go down, and you just can't be affording to bleed out these important units. It's going to be an issue. Tank will fall. Marines and medevacs in the south, they're going to move down. If you can snipe this 5th base, it does something to contain Solar's growth, but that's really all you're doing right now. It's just desperate attempts to slow down the turgidity of the Zerg, because Solar's getting solid. All of his units, his economy is creep. It's coalescing into one giant ball of unstoppable Zerg biomass. We're talking about the infestation getting to the point where it's spread all over this shop, and you just cannot stop it. Those transfuses coming in clutch at the last second, and Solar almost taunting GUMIHO with these heavily damaged hatcheries that he just can't quite get. And I think GUMIHO may be trying to force it a little bit too much here, but it's a testament to Solar's defensive prowess. And I've always said Solar's the best purely defensive Zerg vs. Terran player in the world in a dead standard game. People always take issue with that. I do not think he has the range of Cyril or Raynor or Dark. But my god, when he's just standing there and defending multi-prong, he's so good. And in this game, he's shown that he can counterattack as well. And that's what I love about Solar. As much as I say he's purely defensive, hey, if you're just throwing the kitchen sink at him, he realizes you leave yourself open to those counters, and that's when he does start throwing those little counterattacks in. Solar does get defended at home by the high ground tank. Gumiho's home, I should say. Gumiho's still being annoying with this drop, but look at that Spore Crawler placement. Remember, this is the new 20 damage Spore Crawler, guys. It actually shuts down medevacs a little bit harder. Doesn't seem that big until you experience it a few times. You go, man, these spores are more of a problem. I used to disrespect these things. Like, you know, you just think about it. If you're a Terran player, think about when you accidentally fly in range of a missile turret in TvT with a drop and how quickly you change path with a medevac. That's like the instinct of go, ooh. And think about when you fly in range of a spore and you just kind of ignore it sometimes. This is what I realized. I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, yeah. Like when I fly in range of a missile turret, I quickly steer that medevac to get out of range. Whereas when I'm playing against... a friggin' Spore Crawler, often I just boost straight past it and unload on the other side. I'm like, stupid Spore Crawler. I don't do that anymore. Same thing with Oracles. I used to disrespect spores a little bit. The new Spore Crawler, it's a pimple of death, man. It's a little shooty boy that must be respected. It doesn't look like it should be respected. Like, honestly, if I saw that, I'd be like, what is this stupid plant? But, you know, then it shoots mucus at you and you're like, okay, I respect it. Massling going for the surround. There's just so much. He doesn't even have many Banelings. Not the cleanest fight for Solar, but he's got 2 Vipers, man. Look at this. Vipers, max energy. Get out of here, Gumiho. Go home, go home, go home. But I mean, he's only on 3 base. He's all in. He has to keep going. Even though that's going to give Solar the fight he needs to finish this game. Blinding Cloud on the tanks. They don't get a single shot off. It's just a few Marines against an endless wall of Zerg. And there's too much Zerg on the dance floor, as Maynard used to say. Our Aussie StarCraft caster comrade. Blinding Cloud on the Marines as they unload? That's not even effective. That's just disrespectful. That Viper just put on its worst French accent and said, I thought in your general direction. You know, it basically just told that medevac that her mother smells of elderberries. You guys know what I'm talking about. Liberator's going to come in the north, out here as well. I mean, I love that Gumiho is making it messy. This is classic Gumiho. I'm going to be annoying with a drop, multi-prong like crazy. Unfortunately, as has been the story of this game too, he's leaving himself wide open at home behind it, and Solar's all there to take advantage of it. Lib's going down. That one does reposition. Oh, you can see, Gumiho likes to make the game scrappy, make it messy. Unfortunately for him, Solar's just better than him in a messy, scrappy game, in my opinion. He can always take maps. They always have exciting, hard-fought games. But when you look at their historical score, it's got to be hard to feel confident in this matchup as Gumiho. He managed to finally overcome the rivalry a few times last year, 2023. But here, 2024, feels like Solar's way back on top in their head-to-head. GG, well played.